This is the GTN Show, and today I have a very special guest with me, 2016 Paralympic Champion for the PT S2 category, Andy Lewis.
Thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, absolutely fantastic to be here, a regular viewer of the show, so yeah, it's an honour.
Well, great to have you here, and today we're going to be chatting about how some dreams have been made and broken for some para-triathletes ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. We also have the start list for the Ironman 70.3 World Championships, which we're going to be talking about and having a little bit of fun with.
Yeah, and we're also going to be looking at apparently cycling and cyclists live longer. So we've got some information on that, race results, and also some great photos that you guys have sent in.
Right, Andy, it is a pleasure to have you here. And also, this is the first time we've had a gold Paralympic medal here. And I really like that. That's cool. Very
That's
cool.
A fantastic bit of engineering as well inside that. Inclusive. That's for the visually impaired people, so they know if someone tries to fob them off and give them a silver medal, obviously that means that it's a gold medal. So it's great.
Brilliant. All right, well, unfortunately for yourself, we have some slightly bad news, don't we?
Yeah. I'm absolutely gutted, because obviously with the recent news for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, my category won't be included in the 2020 Games, which is devastating news for me and obviously all the other PT2 athletes as well. But do you know what? For me, this even means more now. And obviously a lot of work went into that, and I suppose the disappointing part is training for 2.5 years now to be told that you're not going to the Paralympic Games, or the category is not going to Paralympic Games. You know, that has a big impact on my life.
Sure.
But on the other hand, it's positive because it gives me the opportunity to now go and play around with other things, but also the opportunity for the PT4 and the PTVI, so Dave Ellis, who will be guided by Mark Buckingham.
Yeah, friend of the channel.
Yeah, so those guys will now have the opportunity to go out there and put it all out there and show the world all about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Paratriathlon was included for the first time in 2016. They had 6 events there. They've included 2 more.
Yeah.
But they've kind of opened up doors for some and closed the doors for others like yourself. So in some ways it's been great, but other ways obviously not so much. But I understand you are thinking of stepping up the distance.
I am indeed. So I've always had a sort of interest. I train with a lot of guys that do 70.3 and full iron distance. So as soon as I heard this news, straight away on the emails to some contacts in the Ironman and the challenge world, and decided that it was, the now was the time to do it. So 70.3 is me. So if you're watching and you've got any advice or tips or hints for me, get in touch, because as you can appreciate, going straight from sprint distance to half iron distance, it's a bit of a challenge, especially when you're missing a leg.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, so you're going to have to think about a lot more equipment than your average person goes to a triathlon.
So I've obviously just got, this is my carbon socket that I wear, so this will have to be totally modified now.
Boa lacing as well. Check that out. That is cool.
So that is obviously the same as we have on our shoes, on the bike shoes, so I can adjust it. And then also I have this. So my mum always told me never to put my shoes on the table. But, so this obviously I can interchange parts of it. So this is all going to have to be remodified now. So I'm working with a company now to totally take it back and start all over again.
And obviously in long distance triathlon, aerodynamics is key.
Yeah. So we've taken that into account as well.
Okay.
So we're actually creating a socket with a aero leg on the bottom. So that'd be carbon fiber, aero shaped. To create more speed and hopefully put some power through it.
I just noticed something on here, if you don't mind me just picking this up. Says up. Is that just in case you tried to put it on the wrong way around?
Yeah. No, do you know what? I shouldn't do. Someone's going to tell me off, but I take them apart sometimes just to service them and things. And obviously with this bar, I wanted to make sure I put it on the right way and which one it was. So But the NHS or the people probably tell me off now. But yeah,
I think you're putting it through a lot more than the average person, so that's fair enough. Well, following on from the announcement of you going longer, Andy, we have the announcement as well of the Ironman 70.3 World Championship Pro start list, which I have just here. And it's stacked. There's some good names on there. And rather than us just going through the list one by one, I thought we'd have a bit of fun with this. So I've created these top trump cards here. I've got a handful. Andy's got a handful. Yep. With some of their key facts on it. So hit me with one of yours.
Okay, so this is no surprise really, but Javier Gomez, 2 Olympic Games, 43 ITU career wins.
Wow.
2017 Ironman 70.3 World Championships and Xterra and ITU World Champion.
Yeah, you started off pretty well there. Well, how about Michael Rayler I've got here? He's actually won the Ironman 70.3 World Championships twice, and I think he set a course record in doing so one of those years. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's also 3-time Ironman 70.3 European Champion. He's had, well, as far as I can count, over 22 Ironman and Challenge wins in his career, and he's quite often at the front of the race. So I think we'll expect him at the front with Javier Gomez. Hit me with another, come on.
Okay, so Alistair Brownlee. All right.
Yeah.
Now I've got some really good cards.
You're doing well. What's going on?
Okay. So we know 2 times Olympic champion, 4 ITU World Champion, 2 Ironman 7.3 wins in 2018.
Just alone in 2018. Okay, that's impressive.
But we do know at the moment his weakness. He's got that bit of an injury.
So whether we'll actually see him on the start line at all, I don't know. Right, I'm having a quick think here. Still on the men's side, Sam Appleton. Now, I'm a big fan of Sam Appleton. I think he's an exciting racer. He's got, 12 Ironman 70.3 wins.
Wow.
He was 4th at the Ironman 70.3 World Championships last year, and he's just similar to Michael Rayler. We should expect him at the front of the race.
Yeah, no surprise there, really. No surprise.
Any females? Come on.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. So I'm picking out here someone I know very well from my time in Lanzarote, Emma Pallant, former international runner. As we know, 2 times ITU Duathlon World Champion, 2nd in the Ironman 7.3 World Championships. It's pretty good going, Emma. And multiple Ironman podiums.
Yeah, she's certainly up there. Yeah. We also got, in my pile, I've got Lucy Charles. We all know Lucy Charles, 2nd at the Ironman World Championships last year. She was 1st at the Ironman African Champs this year, and multiple Ironman podium, and of course her strength being the swim. So hopefully she'll mix things up there.
I'm really excited about this, because there's some good competition there. It's going to be a fantastic event. I have Helen Fredriksson. So, Olympian, ITU World Champs in 2018. First, fastest half as well. 3 hours and 55 and 50 seconds.
I'm trying to remember which event that was. It was a challenge race, which got a lot of prize money, $100,000 US. So yeah.
How many legs I could buy with that? And 8 Ironman 70.3 champ. So
brilliant.
8 times.
Well, I also have. Make this the final one. Sarah True, who is Olympian, she's not too recently stepped up to the Ironman racing. She got 2nd at the Ironman European Champs in Frankfurt. She's got 2 WTS wins to her name, and she was 4th at the 2012 Olympic Games. Wow. It's pretty good. And I do realise we're missing quite a few big ones that we've got in here as well. I think Daniela Reef, that's going to be a really exciting competition between Emma Pallant, Daniela Reef, Lucy Charles, and a few others there. We've got Jan Frodeno. He's mixing it up in there. I threw a couple extra in, like Rudy Von Berg, Braden Curry. I think they're going to be really exciting throwing in the mix. Who else have you got there?
So
Ben Canute, of course, we can't forget that. Melissa Housechild.
Yeah, so there's Danielle, Paula Finlay.
Yeah.
So some great names in there, and it's going to be a fantastic event. And who knows, maybe I can get some tips off these guys to help me, because I'm definitely going to need it.
Right, well, next bit of news is regarding the fitness celebrity Ashley Horner. Now, she's an ultra runner, a triathlete, an entrepreneur, and a mother to 3 boys. And she's just announced that she's doing 50 Ironmans in 50 days.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? We've got some stats as well on it here. So I'm just going to pull the laptop up because there's no way I can remember all these numbers. So that's going to be 120 miles of swimming. So that's, in essence, swimming from Los Angeles to San Diego.
Yeah, and 5,600 miles of biking. Apparently that's the distance from New York to Cairo.
Yeah, and 1,310 miles of running, which is like running from Miami to Chicago.
Yep, and that is an absolute mean feat. Do you know what I mean? She's going to have some sort of blisters after that.
Yeah.
But fair play to her.
And amazingly, she's never done an Ironman before. So she's going straight in with 50 Ironmans. Just as you do, you know. Yeah, but this isn't the first time she's done anything like this, because last year she ran 230 miles around Haiti, and in doing so, she raised over $64,000 for an orphanage in Haiti. So she's really using her profile as a fitness celebrity in a good way. Right, whilst we've got the laptop out, I thought we'd have a bit of fun here. So if we type into Google, I don't know if you've ever done this before and used their autocomplete, do cyclists, well, we've got quite a few suggestions here. Have to have insurance.
Have to pull over.
Have to have a bell. Still dope. I mean, let's scoot over that one quickly.
Get a lot of people asking the question as well about road tax.
Yes, have to use the road. But one that really stands out, do cyclists live longer? Now that's one I want to chat about today, because there's been some studies into that. And I mean, what do you think on this?
Well, for me, I think any bit of exercise, and cycling is a non-impact sport, particularly along with swimming. So for me, I know when I'm running and things, I get issues with my stump and my problems that I get. So I think from a cycling point of view, I can definitely see the benefits of a fit, active lifestyle and people being active. Why not?
Well, let's see from this hard data here. So we got the University of Glasgow. They did an investigation into this, and they used 263,000 participants with a mean age of 52, and 52% of them were female. And they range from anything from walkers to cyclists to doing aerobics to nothing.
Yeah, and by the end of the study, 2,430 participants within this study had died. But the breakdown of that, it did show us some interesting facts. So
it showed that cyclists were 15% less likely to die from any cause, which is amazing, really.
Yeah.
I do notice, though, they only talk about cycling, swimming, rackets, but don't mention running, which is a bit of a shame for us triathletes.
It is indeed.
But they don't also talk about intense cycling. I mean, we've been talking a lot about just cycling and going easy. Yes, that's got some health benefits, but actually pushing your body to the limit, is that bad for us? Well, I found another study on that, and that was done on Tour de France riders. It was done in 2007. They had 834 cyclists within this investigation who cycled at the Tour de France between 1930 and 1964. And they found, on average, Tour de France riders lived to 81 and a half years, as opposed to 73 and a half years for the general population.
Well, that's it then. We all need to get involved and do the Tour de France.
Well, now for the GTN poll, and following on from the announcement of the pro start list for the Ironman 70.3 World Champs, we thought we'd ask you your predictions for the female race. So we've got a few options here for you.
And the predictions: Daniela Ryf, Emma Pallant, Lucy Charles, or other.
Yeah, and if you do want to select other, just hit that and then let us know in the comments section below. And to enter that poll, just click above Andy's head here. And now for last week's results. And we asked you, is Daniela Ryf the greatest female triathlete ever? And it's actually quite a close one, wasn't it?
Very close, actually.
Yeah, so we had 44% of you said no.
And 55% said yes.
That doesn't add up to 100. YouTube, always messing us around. But anyway, it's a classic one here. But anyway, we had quite a few interesting comments. It seems like Chrissy Wellington is a favourite. A lot of people just saying Chrissy Wellington all the way. Chrissy Wellington never lost an Ironman distance race since she started. Something like 13 out of 13 or 14 out of 14. Someone also referred to the time that she got a flat at Kona and still won.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive. And I think one year she crashed like 2 weeks before and still went on to win it. And Some people also being like, well, not yet, maybe soon, give her another year or so. So, yeah.
A lot of people think that Daniela Riflo is quite classy, to be fair.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that they followed her, and that's one of the reasons why they started triathlon as well. So,
yeah, which is great. Great to hear. That's what it's all about. We also asked you last week in our poll section, well, we did 2 polls. We asked you what is your favourite part of the show. And quite clearly, it seems like everyone really enjoys the discussion point. So 35% if you said that. That was really interesting. So thanks very much for your input on that. Right, well now for the race news, and this weekend we had the European Champs taking place in Glasgow, and we had our very own Heather Fell racing in the age group event, and she went on to win her age group, which is fantastic. So well done to you, Heather. She's also got us the race results for the elite men's, women's, and the relay. So over to you, Heather.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It has been an exciting 3 days of racing here in Glasgow, but obviously the big race was today, Saturday. It was my chance to shine. I'm joking about that. We were here obviously to see the pros, and it all started on Thursday with the women's pro race, and the home favourite Jess Learmonth, the defending champion, had a great start. She did lead out on the swim, but didn't manage to get a really clear breakaway, and had Cassandra Beaugrand on her heels, and it was out onto the bike that those two ended up, you could say, working together, but it wasn't quite. It was Beaugrand hanging onto the wheel of Learmonth, and I think Learmonth was getting a little frustrated at that, but couldn't drop her. And then further back there was a chase pack which had a pretty horrendous looking crash, and coming through that it was Nicola Spirig who managed to avoid the crash and rode solo to make the break up to the front too. And I think it was then that the race started to change, because Cassandra Beaugrand couldn't stick with the pace that Spirig injected. Learmonth managed to, so it ended up being Jess Learmonth and Nicola Spirig coming into transition with the run to go, and that's where Spirig absolutely shone. She ended up winning by 33 seconds to take her 6th European title. Jess Learmonth had a tremendous performance to come home and win the silver, and it was Cassandra Beaugrand who came back in 3rd. Well, then the following day it was the men's race, and the home crowd was certainly excited to see a late announcement that Alistair Brownlee was actually confirmed on the start list, and he was in the mix. He actually said apparently the swim was pretty tough. It was Richard Varga who came out of the water first, with no surprises there, but he didn't really have that much of a gap, and soon onto the bike a pack of 9 formed, and they worked pretty hard together. They had a chase pack about a minute back when they came into T2. Richard Varga soon dropped off due to cramps, and then it looked like it was going to be a race between 4. It was Martin Van Riel, Pierre Lecour, Alistair Brownlee, and then coming up through the pack from the chasers it was Fernando Alaza, and he looked pretty rapid. He soon got onto the heels of Alistair Brownlee and didn't stop there. Looked like he was going to chase for the win. He managed to overtake Martin Van Riel, but it was Pierre Lecour who held on to take the win for France to become European champion. Fernando Alaza won the silver medal, and then it was Martin Van Riel who won the bronze. Alistair Brownlee coming home in 4th, which he said was a good result because he hadn't done that much racing coming back from injury. Well, it was the team mixed relay that brought the 3rd and final day to a close here in Glasgow at the European Championships, and the women's first leg, no big surprises really, apart from Great Britain getting dropped off the pace from the main pack, but the girls all worked together, and then it was on to leg 2, and it was a little bit of a breakaway, including the likes of Fernando Alaza and Pierre Lecour in that front pack, and then on to leg 3 with the women, and it was again the Nicola Spirig show. She broke away on the bike and rode a solo effort, coming in with a 16-second advantage from 4 women who were chasing her, but there was nothing they could do on the run. Cassandra Beaugrand, however, did break away from that group of 4 to try and chase down Spirig, so it meant that it was Switzerland and France going into that final leg, and then soon those two started to work together. It was Dorian Connings and Sylvia Friedelans who worked together on the bike, and they ended up being over 60 seconds ahead of the chasing 2, which was Belgium and Hungary. So basically it turned into a race for the gold medal and then a race for the bronze, and it was Dorian Connings who had the stronger run to bring it home for France to take the gold medal, and it really has been a successful championships for France. It was Switzerland who won the silver, and then that battle for bronze was between Belgium and Hungary, and again it came down to that final 1500 metres, but it was Belgium who had the stronger legs on the run to take the bronze, Hungary settling for 4th.
That was great. Thanks very much for that, Heather.
And now over to some 70.3 news in Steelhead in USA. And Eric Lagerstrom had a great swim and came out of the swim with a 1.5 minute lead going into the bike.
Yeah, and he had some Uber bikers joining him, because there was Andrew Starkovic and Igor Amarelli. They pushed hard and managed to catch up with him. So the trio actually came into T2, which is 29 seconds separating them.
But then Eric pushed on very well in the run and went on to take the win.
Yes, he did. He had 3 minutes and 38 seconds on Andrew Starkovic, who took second. Igor Amarelli took third, and he was just 4 minutes and 13 seconds behind Eric.
So over in the women's race, we had Sarah Haskins leading out of the water. She then went into the bike and did the whole thing on her own, which is a little bit lonely to do that. But she was 2 minutes plus out on the lead into the bike going into the run.
Yeah, very impressive. But it's actually fourth place off the bike, Jackie Herring, that ended up being the threat on the run. She came off of the bike with 3 minutes and 48 deficit to Haskins, but managed to finish second with just over a minute deficit. So really was catching hard. Sarah Haskins obviously took the win. Jackie Herring took second, and then it was Christine Cross that took third. Well, now over to Challenge Turku in Finland. And again, we're gonna have to throw to Heather here. She's flying everywhere at the moment. So she's gonna give us a little bit of a race report from Sebastian Kienle.
Well, as I'm in Finland, and it is literally a day after Challenge Turku, and I'm joined by the winner. Sebastian, congratulations. Can you talk us quickly through your race and how it went from your perspective?
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, the weather wasn't as nice as today, so we had a little bit of rain in the morning, but since we came from an altitude block from Livigno, the weather there wasn't like in the rest of Europe very hot, but so we were used to like a little bit of a cooler temperature.
Okay.
That was nice. I think due to like the big block of training I've done, the start was kind of rough for me. I've never been a good swimmer and a good starter with the swim, but this time it was even worse, so I lost quite some time in the swim. But as the race progressed, I started to feel better and better and better. And I think.
So what position did you come out of the swim going onto the bike?
I don't know, maybe 3 minutes down to,
Okay.
To the main guys, especially Dapena. He's like a really strong runner, training buddy from Javi Gomez, and so I'm also competing with him about the overall challenge series ranking.
Okay.
So that was one of the guys to watch. And yeah, I think I caught them maybe after 45, 50 Ks. You have to say that the race course here, especially on the bike, is like blistering fast. It's like completely flat, highway. So I think it was actually my fastest time over 89.5K. That's what the real bike course distance is like. So 155 something.
Fast.
And just like I said, I felt better and better and better, and that keep progressing with the run. So I think like the last 5Ks actually I felt the best in the race. So. Yep.
So yeah, a good performance.
Thanks very much for that, Heather. That was really interesting to hear that from Sebastian. It really was quite a race between Kienle and Pablo de Pina. In fact, they ran pretty much the same run split, one 12:10 and one 12:04, I think it was. But given that Kienle had that advantage off the bike, he took the win. Pablo de Pina took second, and in third it was Daniel Beckard.
Indeed. And then over in the women's race, Sarah Lewis got out of the swim with Kienle. I think the pro men and the women, they went off together, she got it onto the bike.
Yeah, and I think it was Kerry Morris from Australia that pushed on the bike and actually took the lead, coming into transition with just 40 seconds over Sarah Lewis. But Sarah Lewis pushed on the run. I think she posted a 1 hour and 23 minute half marathon to take the win. Kerry Morris took second, and then in third it was Yvonne van Vlerken. Well, now for Xterra Poland, and in the men's race, it was Xterra rookie Will Crudgington from the UK that absolutely smashed the swim, led it out with Sam Osborne right on his heels.
Yeah, and then Bradley Weiss went out onto the bike, and a fantastic strong bike, and also a run, which led him into first place.
Yeah, he absolutely crushed it. I think he had a big lead coming off the bike. Sam Osborne that took second, and Maxim Shane that took third.
And over in the women's race, Alexandra Ruzinska took the lead out of the swim with a fantastic effort, 18:29 for that swim.
Brilliant swim, yeah. By 11K into the bike though, it was Brigitte Poor that had taken the lead. Kind of usual business for her.
Standard.
Yeah, she had a minute over the hard-chasing Karina Vassler, but actually behind those front women, it was Helena Karaskova that was making light work of that single track. But it was still Brigitte Poor that had the lead going into T2, but by halfway through the run, Helena Karaskova had taken the lead and went on to take the win. Brigitte Poor took second and Karina Vassler took third. Well, now for the GTN Caption Competition. Your chance to win a GTN swim cap. Woo! Now, for last week's photo, we had quite a good photo of this chap coming down the finish line of an Ironman in a morph suit with the Union Jack on it, spraying champagne, lights going on. Pretty spectacular, isn't it?
I think I know what I'm going to get for my first 70.3.
There we go. Well, we had great comments coming in. We had quite a few suggesting it's the Blue Man Group coming to triathlon. Daniel Kurtz suggested that. We had Uros Kukik said WWE partnering with Ironman. But the winning one this week came from Setits UK, and they said the new BGT, Britain's Got Triathlon. Good play on words. So you are the winner of the GTN swim cap. Just get in touch and we'll send this cap to you. But now for this week's caption competition. And we had obviously the European champs in Glasgow. We had the mixed team relay, and this is the French team on the podium.
Doing a little dance, I think, but add your comments.
Yeah, I mean, what is that dance? Is
The
it
floss.
The floss.
The floss.
Do you want to give us a demo?
No, definitely not. No.
All right, well, do send in your captions in the comment section below. Well, now for some GTN fan content, some of these photos that everyone's been sending in using our new GTN photo uploader. It's really quite straightforward. Just log in, ping your photos through and hit submit. And we've got loads coming in, so thanks very much for all of those. First one we've got from Francesca.
Yeah, Francesca is over in Ireland and she is swimming in Low OL. In Ireland there, and it's absolutely fantastic photo of the sun rising or setting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't really figure it out.
It's amazing though, isn't it? That looks almost tropical.
Lovely, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you would have
place.
thought that's Ireland.
No.
Very nice. And now this one's sent in by Gail. It's from Halifax in Nova Scotia. He said, my husband and I recently moved from the UK to Halifax. Couldn't be happier. Now, just to clarify, that's Halifax in Canada.
Yeah.
Not the UK. Very different. And that looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gets plenty of distance in there, that's for sure.
Incredible. Next one, I thought this one was fantastic. It's sent in by Lars, and he is actually a referee at the sprint distance national champs in Sweden. So he's actually cycling along the run course, I think it is there. I think he's probably directing the first, second place people through their course. Fantastic.
I think it's important to say as well, fantastic photo, because these guys don't get enough recognition for the work that they do within our sport.
Absolutely.
And the support that they give us to make sure all these events go ahead. So, hats off to them.
Absolutely, and predominantly a lot of these are volunteers, so they're taking time out from their weekends to do this. So, big high five to all you guys.
High five, Lars.
Thanks very much. Now this one's from Alex, and this is his Trek Speed concept set up before race day. This is a cool photo, isn't it? Very
Alex,
nice.
that is some serious preparation you've got going on there.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Very neat, and I love the decals on the bike. So I don't know if he's done this himself or he got this actually from, well, it is a Trek Speed concept, so perhaps he did get this designed and made up, but very, very nice. Next one, we've got a pain cave here. It's sent in by Valentin, and it's his Canyon Speedmax SL6 set up on the wall behind. I think we can see that hanging up. But he's got his turbo trainer set up. We can't quite see the turbo, can we?
No, I am very, very jealous of his pain cave, to be honest. Very jealous.
It's very nice. He's got, look at that. He's got a Global Triathlon Network set up on the TV, ready to hit some videos. He's about to watch our Zwift video. Wetsuit hanging up, his Orca suit, treadmill.
Plenty of medals there as well.
Yeah, and all his hydration, food and gels set up in front. Very impressive. Nice setup, that, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Now, finally, this one is sent in by Castle. It is their Cervelo P3, and this is a race that you're quite keen to do, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, I mean that for me is definitely up there and definitely out there. The old Challenge Roth, fantastic race, but he's obviously got his bike there ready set up to go.
Yeah, very nice.
Who knows? One day my bike might be there as well.
Let's hope so. Well, yeah, thanks very much for sending all those in, and please do keep them coming using our new GTN photo uploader. And as I said, it really is straightforward. And now for GTN Tribe, and this week I'm excited to announce our first club from South Africa. And it's actually sent in by a friend of mine, Kent Horner of My Training Day. Now, they have over 12 years of coaching in triathlon. They have currently 80 athletes that have qualified for the 70.3 World Championships in Port Elizabeth in a couple of weeks' time. They have 4 registered clubs with Triathlon South Africa. They've got one in Cape Town, one in Johannesburg, one in Port Elizabeth, and another in Hillcrest.
They've got 12 coaches nationally as well, but they service over 300 odd athletes, different events around the world.
Massive, isn't it? I believe actually a couple of those coaches are former professional triathletes. And I do know Clinton Gravett, current pro, is also coaching for them. So yeah, a really good roster of coaches there to pick from, isn't there?
Brilliant. And I think the one thing that resonates with me with this club is the fact that they are also very, very keen on supporting juniors and rising athletes and supporting the age groupers, because they're our future of the sport. So it's absolutely fantastic that they've given their time and obviously pursuing that, because that's very important, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And lastly, they mentioned they do a yearly summer training camp in Stellenbosch. How's that for a training camp? Yeah. And this year they have over 60 odd athletes going to that, and they're going to have another 12 plus coaches along to that training camp. I've actually seen a bunch of these guys racing whilst I've been out in South Africa before. So really solid team, some great training destinations, very, very pro, very well set up team this. And we've got a few athletes here with their medals on show. But yeah, great stuff. Really cool club there to feature this week. Please do keep sending in your GTN tribes using our photo uploader. Well, that is it for the GTN show this week, and it's been absolutely awesome having you in today, Andy.
No, thanks very much for having me, Mark. It's been real good fun. I've really enjoyed it.
It has. So hopefully we'll have you again in future.
That'd be fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and if you'd like to see more videos from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe.
And if you would like to have a look at the video Ironman versus ITU, click down here.
Yeah, Heather does a great job on comparing the athletes and the different types of sports, so might be useful for yourself if you're stepping
up. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that, that's for sure.
Brilliant. If you'd like to see our how to do a warm-up for a triathlon video, which again, Heather's done a great job on explaining, you can see that by clicking just down here.